Hey everybody, welcome to eTrailer.com. I'm Bobby, and today we're taking a look at the Haldex Destination 4 bike rack carrier here on our 2018 Jayco Seneca Motorhome. Now this is going to be a great way of getting a host of different bikes to wherever you need to go for your destination. So you can see, getting a nice stable platform rack here for 4 bikes at a 35-pound capacity per bike as well. We're going to have a pretty good time getting most of our bikes that we need to wherever we need to go. Taking a look though, it is a little bit of a busy rack. You're seeing a lot of straps, you're seeing a lot of kind of takedown points. Now that is kind of be a little formidable. However, once you start working past it, you're going to see you're getting a lot of great contact. That way, all 4 of our bikes are going to be nice and secure on this platform, can have a nice stable base for ourselves, not going to have any issue at all. On the end too, you are having these nice little reflectors. I like pointing those out. I don't think they're standard enough across the industry, and it is nice to let people know exactly where we are as we're traversing wherever our travels take us. Keep in mind too, it's dusk, it's late at night. Nice to let people know exactly where we are, especially when you have this nice black rack on the back of our carrier. Now the cradles themselves are nothing too crazy, not going to be anything too wide. Going to have a nice little standard groove on the middle there for most of our bikes. Definitely not going to be great for any kind of fat tire bikes or very large bikes as on here. The straps themselves aren't the craziest of length, as you can see, not going to be anything too big. Now they do have kits that you can purchase separately to go ahead and start accounting for that. However, especially with our weight capacity, don't think we're actually needing those guys or can still fully utilize them. So just one little thing to look out for there. Now today we do have frame contact on our bikes as well. So if you're looking to transport any of your carbon frame bikes, unfortunately not going to be a great option, as you are going to have frame contact that will end up warping and deteriorating that frame and damaging it over time. One thing that's kind of cool about it though, these guys are extremely versatile. Our middle mast system here can rotate 360 degrees, allowing us to change our positioning of this cradle in a host of different ways. So if you have a diagonal hold, horizontal, vertical, diagonal, whichever way you need to go for it, definitely going to have an easy time clamping on a host of our different frames. So I think this bike rack really starts showing its versatility. Not going to have an issue at all with a host of different bikes. One thing too to mention too with that cradle, and speaking of versatility, these cradles actually, or these strips I should say, can actually be transposed on these positions here. So if you wanted, you could put these guys closer. Great for your smaller bikes. Also though, we can keep them long for those longer bikes. Nice that we have just a little versatility. Can really start going a long way, especially with a ton of different bikes on here. Nice that we're not going to have any issue at all fitting them all. Well, to take them all off isn't going to take any time. I just simply press in on that gray lever, releasing our strip. One thing to mention with these strips, nothing too crazy. Nice little kind of rubber holder on one end. That way, making sure we're not doing any damage to our wheel rims. And it does have a nice little open hook here to put a finger through to really ratchet down. Especially if things are cold or wet or grimy, it can be really nice that we have that little bit of extra contact to pull it through all the way, not hurting our hands, pinching it as we go. But now that we are released, that brings us to our last hold right here on the middle. To do so, I like to kind of help myself out here just by pressing in on one of these ends and then kind of working it all the way out. Also, let's make sure we are holding onto our bike as we do so. And that's the only thing with me. That guy can be a little awkward to get off. Definitely nothing too crazy. But as you see, we want to make sure we are holding onto our bike. Don't want that tilting into our vehicle causing any damage or towards ourselves. But to take it off, I just simply walk it off to the side and we are ready to ride. Now mounting it is going to be just as easy. The things to look out for though, making sure we're kind of tucking these straps. They are nice and long, so they're easily kind of thrown on the other side of the cradle. Otherwise they'll hang right here. It doesn't take you more than 2 seconds to loop it through the wheel. However, it's just one headache that we can go ahead and start avoiding by just getting them off to the side. Now one cool thing about this guy as well though, as you can see, definitely a little busy, as we already mentioned. This mast kind of hangs out, just kind of sticks up here. Especially if you were wanting to fold this away, it would be totally in our way. So we do have a way of quickly shortening it down. On the inside here, we just have this little lever support that's actually holding this in. To release it, I'm just going to go ahead and back off this knob that's actually holding it in tight against my mast. And I go ahead, pop that guy off to the side like so, and now I'm already nice and released. Now with this guy too, we can go ahead and actually drop down the rest of our mast into our way. Just kind of watching those cradles. As you can see, again, that's where the busyness really starts kind of coming into effect. However, a couple nice things I like to do. Take this extra strip like so, put it back through our cradle and tighten it down, and that way our mast is going to be going nowhere, going to be nice and secured for ourselves. Very, very easy for us to transport. Well, with any hitch mounted accessory, we're definitely adding a lot of length to our vehicle. Already in our Jayco, a lot of space to already consider. So let's go ahead, take a quick look to see what we're working with here. Before I do that though, I'm going to go ahead and just give us our clearance measurement here before we get too crazy ahead. You are seeing a pretty nice sloping rise on this carrier as well. So even at the end here, we are going to get pretty good height. Looks like our wings are actually going to be our lowest point of contact. And at the very end here, it's putting us at 30.5 inches there to the ground. So tons of space. Again, a nice rise in that carrier as well as in our shank. So I don't think we're going to have any issues with all this guy. Just keep in mind as those front wheels go up, the back will go down. So will our hitch mounted accessories. So let's just be conscious of it if we have any very kind of steep terrain or anything. But bringing ourselves back to that length from the rear of our bumper here, go ahead, take a quick look. And to the very end of our reflectors is 43 inches exactly from the rear of our bumper. So definitely a lot of length to consider. Already a long vehicle, definitely with our RV. So we do have a way of quickly shortening that down, at least for when our bikes are no longer on our carrier. And when you maybe get in those tight parking places, wherever we might be at the campsites. To do so, I'm going to go ahead and take out this retaining clip right here in the middle of our assembly. That's going to go ahead and allow me to start backing off this knob on the other side. Once I get it unthreaded at a certain point, it'll pull right out. Nice little safety cable there to keep it right there for us. And I can just simply walk it up, find my hole. Now it's not going to be all the way sitting down, so it's going to be pretty much when it's straight up in the air, as you guys can see. And now I can go ahead, just kind of work it back and forth until I find those threads. Now I can go ahead, re-tighten this all the way down. And this is going to do a good job of taking all that play out in this position. We don't want this guy rocking back and forth, coming loose, doing any kind of damage. And with a simple replacement of my retaining clip, we are nice and secure. So as you guys can see, it takes no time at all to really drop this guy into place. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how much length we shorten down. In this position, very little to no play. Not going to be too close to our vehicle. Keep in mind, I definitely recommend holding in these masts. As you can see, if they were kind of just loose, they would be making contact. So nice that we have those extra strips just to hold that in. But with a quick look here from the rear of our bumper to the very end, looks like our wings are going to be very even here with our inner assembly. Puts us right at 17.75 inches from the rear of our vehicle. So already cutting down more than half of that distance. Keep in mind, you are getting 4 bikes on this guy, so it's just kind of something you're working with. However, nice that we can pull this in. Definitely not going to have any trouble, I think, getting this in any tight parking places. Not really adding that too much to our RV now. So love to see that. On the very end too, let's go ahead and check our clearance here, just in this position. With us being so close to our hitch, I don't think it's going to be a problem for us. And at 25 inches, we should be well enough out of the way of any kind of danger. It's just something that way we are aware of exactly what we're working with. Moving our way on the inside though, you will see we have our 2-inch shank here today for our 2-inch hitch. And on the inside, we do have a threaded anti-rattle hitch bolt. Now those guys are pretty standard across the industry, but you love to see them. So you can see I'm giving this guy a shake. It means it's all in line with one system. That's making for a nice smooth ride for ourselves, our bike rack, and especially our bikes. On the inside too, we do have a locking cord here today. Now these guys are great to make sure that our carrier is secured to our vehicle. This guy also does have that included cable lock, which is great to make sure that it is keyed alike. That way we can go ahead and start securing everything to our carrier. That way we can leave it unattended on the back of our RV. Well, the Destination is a great little bike rack. I don't really think you can beat, really, it's just kind of economic value. You know, you're getting a ton of great features, not having to break the bank for some of those more premium features. And one thing I like about it too, a lot of times when you start looking at those more high-end bike racks, they do have a great little tilt-away feature. However, especially on the being in the back of the Seneca here, I don't really see the need. We're not really needing full access to the back of here. Even if we were, it's not taking us too much room to take this guy off or even kind of sneak back there if we're having to do work on the license plate. So we're really not losing too much. We're still getting a host of different capabilities with this guy. Really like how everything's secured. The only thing to keep in mind though, not going to be great for your carbon frame bikes. There are a couple of options out there for that, but that's kind of the only big con, in my opinion, of the Destination. Well, I think that about does it for a look at the Howderack's Destination 4 bike rack carrier here on our 2018 Jayco Seneca. I'm Bobby. Thank you for watching.
Now we're going to go ahead and take it on our test course. First we'll start with the slaloms. This is going to show the side-to-side action. It's kind of going to mimic the movements that you'll see whenever you're driving down the road normally. Now we'll have the alternating speed bumps. This is going to be more so like the uneven roads and some of that uneven terrain you might be traveling on, and see how it holds up.